Hey guys, Chef JoJo with ECO, and on this episode, we're going to talk about paying your dues and what does that look like. And as usual, we're going to talk about this over a shift drink. All right, tonight's shift drink is Elysian Dragon's Tooth Stout. It is rich, it's deep, and it's really good. And it's kind of fitting for tonight's topic because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be spitting some fire. Get it? I recently just did a class at a culinary school, and I was talking to a bunch of students that were trying to make it in the industry or just like getting out there for the first time. And, I go through like different paths and all this other stuff, but we were in the Q&A part. And a student raises their hand and says, hey, I just recently went on a job interview and I really wanted to work at this place. And the chef told me that I could work there if I worked there for free for a month. And then he would figure out if I was worthy enough to be hired. What should I do? And they proposed this question to me. And before I could even pull it back into my mouth, I was like, you can tell him to kiss your ass. And then I was like, well, I was a little bit more graphic. It frustrated me, it upset me, it made me angry. And I'm going to tell you why. Because first off, there's not a Michelin star hanging on his door at all. And it's a 60-seat restaurant, and I don't foresee working for free for a month is going to change her culinary career or their culinary career. And, it brought me back to the beginning of my career when I was trying to figure out how I was going to do this and how I wanted to be the best chef ever. And I didn't want anybody to stand in my way while that was taking place. And I wanted to get as much information as I could possibly get. And I realized that information and knowledge and skills is what were going to pay your bills in the long run. It was a long game. And if you wanted somebody to show you how to break down a fish or do this technique, you had to ask them and hope they would show you. And there have been many a times that I had to punch out and learn how to do something or work for free so they would give me an opportunity. But it usually was for like a day or two or something to that effect. We're not talking about a stage at a, 1 or 2 star Michelin restaurant where it's going to be put on your resume and it's going to change your life. This is not someone who saved up for months and months. Like in the day, like when I was coming up, you either went to culinary school or you saved your money and you went and staged in Europe. And then when you came back, you had some baller resume from working here, here, and here, and here. And all these guys were talked about and you had street cred and it was worth it. Now I feel like we're just trying to make people suffer to do what they love. Or at least in this example that I'm talking about. Are we so stuck on ourselves that we have to make other people pay the price to love it? Is it enough to love it? And, in the class, we talked about what everyone had sacrificed just to go to culinary school, just to get other people to accept the fact that they didn't want to do something normal, that they wanted to make cakes or food or whatever it was. They upset people. They had to draw a line in the sand and say, this is what's going to make me happy. And this is what I want to do. And this is my path I want to go on. Whether they really know if they have what it takes or not, that's what they set out for. And here we are, we've got a guy that's got a successful restaurant. It's doing well and people talk about it, but yet he's going to treat someone who's coming up in the industry with such, disdain. I hope that's the right way to use the word. And it makes me go, what the hell are we thinking? Every post, every article, everything I read says, we can't find cooks. Everything's shrinking up. No one wants to cook anymore because, it's just too hard, too many hours, yada, yada, yada. Hell, half the time, all you gotta do is scroll down to 4 or 5 comments on something that I post on Facebook, and you'll find some person that's pissed that they did it for 20 years and they regret it. They comment, oh, we don't have unions that take care of us. It's nights and weekends and it's not a fair wage and you work all the time, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's what it is to a certain extent. But to make somebody work for free, and then, it wasn't 4 seconds after that, a next person's like, well, my job says if I come to work and they'll let me work this party, but the first 2 hours need to be volunteer work. What? What the hell are we doing? I can't get enough cooks in my building. There's not enough people running to restaurants. Now, there's two rules of thumb here, right? Like, one group is saying, hey, that means there's plenty of opportunity for me. And the other one is like, you can't find good help. And you shouldn't even try to go in there. And I see both sides. I see the side of frustration on the chef's part where kids come out of culinary school and they won't even do dishes. They think like, oh, you want me to do dishes? I'm going to be a chef in a matter of 2 months. You want me to work the grill for how long? I should be writing your menu. No, you shouldn't be writing my menu. But you should be working that station and putting a good effort in, showing up on time. But to come out of the gate and start sucker punching people with a month's worth of work for free, I think is a bit ridiculous. And I mean, I know that I'm probably bouncing all over the place, but I'm a little I'm pissed off about it. Because this industry has provided so much for me and my family. Now, I sacrificed a lot to get where I am today, and I worked my ass off, and I missed soccer games and basketball practices and cross-country meets and, birthdays and anniversaries. I sacrificed all that so one day it would pay off. I'm just lucky enough to look back and connect the dots and say that my family was strong enough to stick by me while I made it through. But I had people looking out for me. I had worked for chefs that threw me in their van when we were in culinary school and drove me down to a job and said, hey, you need to hire this guy because he wants to work. And they paid me for a good day's work. Now, granted, I learned a lot in that pastry kitchen from a French chef that yelled at me and called me a stupid American and all that nonsense. It wasn't easy, but why are we making it so damn hard for everybody? I mean, the market doesn't give a shit about your feelings already. It doesn't care if you're going through a family crisis or anything, or that you can't afford to pay the electricity bill. It just expects you to survive. And if you don't know how to do that without free labor, then you don't belong in this business. That's my opinion. And I mean, hell, if you don't agree with me, ask Heston Blumenthal how that's working out for him in his Australian restaurant. And I'm a huge fan of Heston. I just saw an article not too long ago that they shut his restaurant down in Australia because they were getting sued because people were punching out and working for hours and hours and hours. I've done it. I haven't done it in a long time, and I haven't asked anybody do it for forever because I remember what it was like when we couldn't even afford cable and we couldn't afford to put groceries on the table because I was making $11 an hour at most, trying to make ends meet. And I had some vision or dream that I was going to be a great chef and I was going to change the industry. That was 20 years ago. And I don't think the guy that was asking for somebody to work for a month for free has even an ounce of experience that I do. And I would never do that. Why are we doing this to our own? The one thing I do love about the industry is that it's rough and tough and it separates everybody. The good, the bad, the ugly, I love it all. But if we don't take care of ourselves in this industry, nobody's going to. I mean, Fair Kitchens is a movement that I think deserves some absolute street cred. Yeah, you need a safe environment because you got assholes running around asking people to work for free. And, no one leaned harder into the extreme passion, the extreme dedication, and this extreme sacrifice it takes to make this business work, right? That's my bread and butter. That's how I got where I was and where I am today. But I'm looking behind me, trying to pull people up the mountain, not kick them in the face while they try to climb. And if you're working for somebody like that, I'm sorry. I think it's time that you really take a moment and figure out what where you'd like to be and who you'd like to be working for. Because the one thing we forget is that there's a restaurant around the corner. All you got to do is grab your knives and tongs and go look for it. And they're all looking for good help. Don't forget that. Make sure that your path is the path that you're marching on, not somebody else's. And yeah, you're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to work hard. But you should, at least get paid a little bit for it. And for those of you out there that are asking people to work for free, I got a couple of words for you, but I'm trying to stay monetized on YouTube, so I might not drop it right now. Anyway, these are my thoughts and comments about what the hell's going on out there. And, I'm sure I missed something. And for all you culinary students who are like, yeah, we should get paid because, we worked really hard to go to culinary school. Yeah? Well, that's just the beginning. That was the price of admittance to what we do. Get in there, work your ass off, respect the people that you work next to, and realize that you can learn something from everybody that walks through the door. The guest, to the manager, to the chef, to the dishwasher, everybody has something to show you. And for you people out there, I almost said another word, but for those out there that want to make the people prove that they love it to you, let the industry do that. Lend a hand. Stop being an ass. Be a true leader, not a freaking... Anyway, true leaders. That's what I'm looking for. If you got any comments on this one, I'd love to hear it. You have anything that you think I left out, love to hear it. You can follow me on Facebook or Instagram. You can hit the bell below. You can like or unlike. Don't really care. I just want us to change the industry. Anyway, until next time, I'm Chef Jojo. Cheers.